Hey guys, I'm really sorry I haven't been able to upload much lately. I know it's been a while since I've uploaded a tutorial. I've been extremely busy with work, and unfortunately I had to take some time off from YouTube and Instagram. But now I'm back in a position where I'm able to upload new videos again, which I'm really excited for. Because of the unpredictable nature of my freelance work, it's hard to stick to a specific upload schedule. But I do have a bunch of new tutorials lined up for you guys, so don't forget to subscribe and click that bell button to keep up with the upcoming videos. So today I'll be showing you how to create this layered paper effect using Adobe Photoshop so that you can use it on your own custom text. One of the first videos I uploaded on the channel was of a similar style of paper effect, and people seemed to really enjoy it, so this is kind of a callback to that effect. However, this time I wanted to take it up a notch while simplifying a lot of the steps in the process. As you can see, I've added a few different layers using these kinds of topographic shapes and different colors to add some more depth to the text. I've seen this kind of layered shapes effect being used in a few pieces on Instagram, so I thought it would be cool to mix it with some typography. Alright, so let's get started. We're gonna start by creating a new Photoshop document. We'll make it 2000 by 2000 pixels. You can set the resolution to 72 pixels per inch and use RGB for the color mode. And you can leave the background color to whatever it's at. Now that we have our document set up, we'll need to download and install a paper texture, for which I've included a download link in the video description. Once you've downloaded the texture, you can just double click on the .pat file and it should automatically install it to your Photoshop patterns library. Alright, now let's start editing the foreground layer. And when I say foreground, I basically mean the foremost layer of paper, which in this case would be the light blue colored paper surrounding the text. So go ahead and double click on the background layer to unlock it. I'll just rename it to foreground and leave all the other options untouched and hit enter. Now let's go down to the layer styles menu and bring up the blending options panel. And then select pattern overlay. Then click on the pattern drop down and you should see the craft paper pattern you just installed. If for some reason you don't see the paper pattern, just click on the cogwheel up here and select load patterns. Then navigate to where you downloaded the pattern file, select it and click open. Now for the blend mode, we'll select linear burn and we'll set the opacity to 40% and leave the rest untouched. Now that the pattern is set up, we can add some color to the foreground, so go right up here and select color overlay. And then let's bring up the color palette by clicking right here. You can set the foreground color to whatever you like. I'm gonna go with the light blue just because I like the blue and pink color combination. So I'm gonna use the following color value: A7, D8, F2. And then set the blending mode to multiply and hit OK. Alright, now that we're done with the foreground, we can move on to the text. So let's bring up the type tool by pressing T, then click on the canvas and type in your custom text. Now for the sake of keeping this tutorial short, I'll only work on a single letter, but you can use this effect on a word or a series of words. All you need to do is apply the same process to the entire word. So I'll just type in B and scale it up. So just select the move tool to exit the text editing mode and then bring up the free transform tool by pressing Command T or Control T on PC. Then grab one of those corners and drag it out to scale your word up. Now if you're using a version of Photoshop that's older than 2018, I believe, you'll have to hold down Shift to scale up your word proportionally, or you'll just end up deforming your letters. Holding Shift used to allow you to scale elements proportionally, but for some reason Adobe decided to change this at some point last year, and now it's the other way around. So just to avoid any confusion, if your version is older than 2018, hold Shift. If it's more recent, don't hold Shift. Once your word is the size you want it to be, hit enter to release the transform tool and go ahead and select the font you want to use. I suggest using something bold and without too many details so that the effect works best. So I'd avoid using any font with small serifs or a thin script font, for instance. I'll use Brandon Grotesque and go with black. Depending on your font choice, you might have to resize it a bit to fit better in your space. Next, we'll center the text to the canvas. So let's hit V to bring up the move tool and move your text around using these smart guides to help you center your text properly. Once the smart guides are crossing in the middle like this, you know that your text is dead center. Now let's start working on that text effect. First we'll select a color for the text. So double click on the text, which will automatically bring up the type tool, and select your text. Then click on the foreground color right here and set it to whichever color you like. I'll use the following hex value, 7F7CC1, which is a bluish purple that'll serve as the color for the deepest paper layer. So all the layers above this one will gradually get lighter in color. Now click OK and click on the canvas to deselect the text. Now let's start creating the cutout effect. So basically we want it to look as if the text has been cut out of the foreground paper layer, revealing a second layer of paper underneath, which in this case would be purple. So make sure you have your text layer selected, and then go to the layer styles and bring up the blending options panel again. Now we'll select inner shadow right here. This will create a shadow distancing the two paper layers, giving a sense of depth. Now for the shadow color you could use black, which would be fine, but I'm gonna go with a darker shade of purple or magenta that'll blend well with all the pink and purple layers, which I find looks a little bit more natural. So I'll use the following hex value, 350E31. Now I'm gonna change the shadow settings based on my personal preferences. I won't be able to go over what each value does for the sake of keeping this video as concise as possible, but I encourage you to play around with the settings to get the result that looks best for you. If you want to use the same values I'm using, feel free to pause the video at any time. Now this looks pretty good. We already got that cutout effect going on. Alright, so let's add the same paper texture that we used for the foreground layer. So click on the pattern overlay right here and use the same settings we used previously. Next, we're going to add a very thin white outline to the text so it looks like the light is hitting the edge of the paper. This part is very subtle, but I feel it does help add some realism to the overall effect. So we're going to select outer glow down here, and again feel free to pause the video to put in the same values. Now I'm not sure if it shows on the video, but you should see a very thin outline to your text, which really helps giving that sliced paper look. Alright, next we're going to move up to bevel and emboss, and what this will do is it'll give the illusion that the cutout paper is curving back up along the edges, which actual sliced paper tends to do. So again, just trying to add an extra layer of realism. Alright, so we're done with the layer styles for the letter cutout, and it's already starting to look pretty cool. So now we'll go ahead and move on to the inner layers. You can pretty much create as many layers as you want, but at some point it'll start to look a bit busy, so try not to go overboard. I'm gonna stick to 5 paper layers for this tutorial. Alright, so let's start drawing the first shape. So go ahead and create a new layer down here by clicking on this little icon. And we're gonna start drawing random sinuous shapes. Now there's multiple ways you could do this. If you're familiar with the pen tool, I'd suggest using that to get the most control over your shapes and allow you to create really sinuous curves with a nice flow. For those of you who are interested in learning how to use the pen tool, I'll drop a link to my complete pen tool tutorial in the video description. It'll teach you everything you need to know about the Adobe Illustrator pen tool, which works pretty much exactly the same in Photoshop, so I suggest you check it out. But right now I'm going to assume most people aren't too familiar with it, so I'll just use the lasso tool. You can bring up the lasso tool by pressing L. Now what you want to do here is hold the left click on your mouse and start drawing your shape to create a selection. Try and make your shape as curvy as possible and avoid having too many points or corners. So try and draw in a smooth and sinuous motion. Then go around the letter and connect it to the other side to close the selection. Once the selection is closed up, we'll be able to fill it with color. So bring up the fill menu by pressing Shift and backspace. Then select color, and I'm just going to use a light pink for this top layer and just use darker colors as I get deeper. So I'll go with F0DBEB. Then hit OK, and hit OK again. Now that the layer is filled, we can let go of the selection by pressing Command D or Control D on PC. Now make sure this layer sits above the text layer, and then right click on it and select Create Clipping Mask. This is going to contain the contents of the layer we just created within the shape of the letter. Alright, so let's add the shading and texture to this first layer. And don't worry, you won't have to do this for all the layers. We'll basically just copy and paste the layer effect we're creating right now to all the other sublayers, if this makes any sense. So once again, we'll go down here to the layer styles and select blending options. And first we'll go to bevel and emboss to give that light curvature effect to the paper. And same thing here, you can pause the video at any time to use the same settings I'm using and then tweak them afterwards if you want to. Then we'll move on to inner glow to create that subtle light reflection along the edges. And then we'll add a drop shadow to distance this layer from the other paper layers. And hit OK. Now if you want, you can go ahead and resize the shape by hitting Command T or Control T on PC and resize it the same way we did earlier. Okay, now let's go ahead and create the second layer. From this point on, it's going to go a lot faster since we'll be able to copy all the layer effects we just created. So we're basically just drawing a shape with the lasso tool the same way we did earlier. Once the selection is closed, I'll fill it with a more saturated and slightly darker shade of pink with the hex value E698DE. Now make sure this layer sits right under the first light pink layer we created. Then go to the first light pink layer and right click where it says Effects and select Copy Layer Style. Then select the newest layer underneath, right click and paste layer style. And there you have it, the second layer is done. Now I'm going to repeat the same process for the remaining layers, and I'll be coloring them with gradually darker shades of purple. So I'm going to use C59 5D9 for this one. And copy and paste the effects. And I'll create the last layer. And I'll fill it with this darker purple, AD7CC1. And copy the effect. Now I'm just gonna add in a few extra shapes to fill in the empty spaces. and I'm gonna save the document. And that's about it, guys. Now obviously you can add a bunch more layers to create some extra depth. Also try and play with the different settings and see how you can personalize the effect once you feel comfortable with it. Let me know if you have any questions in the comments section, and feel free to share your work with me on Instagram. I'll do my best to get back to as many comments as possible. If you've enjoyed the video, feel free to drop a like and subscribe for more Photoshop tutorials. Guys, thank you so much for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one.